Hello guys, Brad here again with another fragrance review. Today let's look at a fragrance sample from the house of Prada. Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. And I had gotten this sample off of eBay. Just picture the bottle. It has a very dark, mysterious blue coloration to it with the red letters Prada on there. And this one, it says a sophisticated freshness reinvented in a blend of vibrant bergamot and elegant iris accord, magnified by a sensual vetiver. This one came out in 2021, classified as an aromatic fougere. Top notes of bergamot, pink pepper, and artemisia. Middle notes of lavender, iris, sage, suede, and saffron. Base of musk, Haitian vetiver, patchouli, and caramel. So, what are my thoughts on this one? Well, you do get that iris lavender thing here going on. It does almost have sort of that same iris feel that you would normally expect from like the La Homme line, maybe even more so than the Luna Rossa lineup. I did like La Homme and I did like Luna Rossa. This one here, it kind of seems to me that what Prada was going for here was what I would call a hybrid fragrance. They wanted to take something sort of fresh and clean and floral, maybe more in the vein of like La Homme, and then combine it with maybe a more traditional salty aquatic. So think along the lines of like any of your typical aquatics like Bleu de Chanel, whatever. Now I wouldn't necessarily say this reminds me of La Homme, but it does kind of have like that typical bubblegum quality to it that you smell in so many modern fragrances these days. I call them the bubblegum brigade because they seem to all sort of come together like this big army of fragrances and just kind of sit on the shelves of these department stores, So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's almost like you took, I'd say like even Ralph's Club or Invictus, two fragrances that kind of stand in my mind as being like very indicative of that bubblegum smell. You take maybe 2 parts or 3 parts of that smell and combine it with maybe 1 part of that salty aquatic, maybe like a Bleu de Chanel or something like that. Because it does seem to me that the bubblegummy aspect is the prominent thing here, but there's just a slight hint of that aquatic saltiness here to make it maybe stand out just a bit. But you might have to be really, a good nose to pick up on it. I don't really think it stands out in and of itself as anything too spectacular or amazing. I know a lot of reviewers with larger collections would say, well, it just has a very generic smell to it or just doesn't stand out well enough for me to convince myself to own it and make it part of my collection. But if you're not into big collections, you're just looking for a standalone fragrance to wear every day, this one would be perfectly fine, just like many others out there. Prada Luna Rossa Ocean, kind of a sweet, floral, bubblegummy, slightly aquatic smell to it. It has all the qualities that you might want in a modern day fragrance. A lot of people say it has like that laundry freshness to it, stuff like that. So if that's what you're looking for, yeah, you could do a lot worse than Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. For me, though, it's pretty much a pass because I think there's other things I would rather wear. That bubblegummy smell isn't really my vibe. I think I want something a little bit more vintage smelling than this, maybe even going back 5 or 10 years or longer. This one just smells very modern and today, and I'm not really into that scene so much. So I'll give you my final scores on this one. The smell, I'm going to say 6.5 out of 10. I might like this one slightly more than, let's say, Ralph's Club, because it does add like a salty aquatic spin to it, but still not enough to make it something that I would necessarily rush out and buy for myself. I do wish they would amp up that salty aquatic a bit and maybe tone down that that bubblegummy lavender type smell. Projection longevity, we'll say 4 to 6 hours. It performed reasonably well. So we'll say 6 out of 10 for the projection longevity. Versatility, I would do see this one being more of warm weather. I could see spring, summer, but year round. Just an everyday scent, but more of a warmer weather feel to it, maybe because of that citrus from the bergamot. So we'll say versatility 7 out of 10. uniqueness, I'll still say 5.5 out of 10. Really didn't strike me as anything too unique. And as a flanker, you wouldn't expect it to be overly unique. And also, because it tries to combine two different things, you're going to have to assume that it's not going to stand out very well either on its own. Price point, $95.39 for a 3.4 ounce. So not quite in the discount bin yet for what I'm seeing right now. Overall for me, though, I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Not quite good enough that I would rush out and buy it, but certainly good enough that I wouldn't mind wearing my sample, finishing it off, and just continuing to enjoy that standard fresh feel that I get from a lot of today's modern fragrances. It's nice, but it doesn't really stand out as anything too spectacular in my opinion. So that's my final thoughts on Prada's Luna Rossa Ocean. Check it out if you like those fresh aquatic type smells. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.